When I was 18 years old, I had my first glimpse into the nature of reality. At the time, it was through LSD, it was through psychedelics. And my current condition of mind didn't have the bandwidth to even fathom a second or a fraction of what I was seemingly understanding while I was on the LSD. LSD doesn't always provide this experience, so you can consider LSD as equivalent to just having a sober awakening, if you will. There's been times where I've had these glimpses and they've been exactly the same as when I was on LSD, when I'm not on any substance whatsoever. The purpose of what I'm sharing is that because of this experience, I started to experiment even more. I pretty much followed what Ram Dass said and did, and I understood why he was doing it, but I didn't understand his teaching. So as I was going through this experience, my mind wasn't ripe enough in a sober state to comprehend what I was understanding. So I wasn't actually understanding it. I was gaining insight relative to a certain state of mind. So what happens is, what we're trying to do on this path is unconsciously we're trying to find a certain state that will give us a certain insight. But if we seek to find a certain state that gives us a certain insight, we'll never have clarity, true clarity, because doubt will always creep in. If you gain spiritual insight or true understanding from an experience, whether that's a psychedelic experience or whether that's a sober awakening experience, or whether that's through a teacher, or whether that's through some form of event, some special event, you'll never be convinced by your own understanding. This is why people can have so many awakening experiences and glimpses and still never be completely ridiculed of doubt, completely reduced of doubt. And this doubt is like this sense of, but what if I was wrong? Or, but what if I was insane? Or what if this was some delusion? Or is it really this way? It comes with some form of questioning, which you could say like unvalidates the experience that you had and that you're currently having. So the premise of true understanding is that no matter what experience you've had in the past, you do not use it to verify your current experience. And that's the only way you'll ever be completely clear about your understanding and therefore fully surrender seeking, is when you have absolute certainty on, or absolute clarity on, your direct experience. So in order to get there, you have to go through a process of not knowing, which means for most people who have spent decades on the path, who consistently like to think that they know or have had awakening experiences, so therefore are reluctant to be in this not knowing and reluctant to be curious again because they think they know, you will always have that doubt. It will always keep creeping back up. And that doubt will be basically the part of your path which you are yet to explore, which is this current experience right now. So what happens is we filter previous experiences onto the current experience, and we convince ourselves that the past experience is now my current experience, when it's not. It's a filter, it's a belief. And that belief can be very subtle. So we will never be convinced by anything fully unless it has come from proper context and understanding. If it's come from any form of experience, any form of special event, we will never find certainty, we'll never find clarity. There will always be doubt. And therefore, we will always be cycling through a process of seeking. So the first step is to be absolutely curious. And it means surrendering all the knowledge that you've previously gained, all the insight, everything that you've previously realized to be true has to be put under the microscope. Now, the weird thing is that when I'm saying that you'll always have doubt, this doubt isn't, we're kind of playing with the doubt. We're saying, well, clearly, if I'd had the experience that was absolutely fundamentally the realization I needed to have, I wouldn't have this current doubt. So the fact I have this current doubt, let's be curious about it, let's be playful with it, and let's follow this doubt. Where is it taking me? Well, it's taking me to the fact that my current experience, I do feel separate, actually. I do feel like a separate self. I do feel like there's a separate world. Objects do look like they're at a distance from myself. But relative to my past experience, that wasn't the case. So why does it seem that way now? This is where we need to explore. What is happening now? So in this experience where I do feel separate, now we're not clothing ourselves with a spiritual concept anymore. We're facing our experience directly. And in this experience, we ask ourselves, what about this experience makes me feel separate? What is it about the past experience that I didn't feel separate? And what is it about this one where I feel separate? Is it because of where I feel located? Is it because my body feels like a tight cloth that is encapsulating me, like my skin is like a costume and I feel like I'm inside the skin? There's very subtle layers of perception that make us believe that we're a separate self. So irrespective of what experiences that we've had in the past, whether we've had awakened ones or non-awakened ones, or we've never had any spiritual insight, it doesn't make a difference. Everything starts here. All the investigation starts here. Until the investigation starts here with a present, clear, explorative and curious mind that isn't outsourcing our thoughts to somebody else, the path hasn't even begun. So this current experience that we're not outsourcing to somebody else, which we can do provisionally, right? Right now, you're in a way outsourcing your thoughts to me. And I'm thinking, and you're thinking vicariously through me. That can be a legitimate thing to do for a temporary amount of time. You could join my meditations, for example. You could join my online retreat and residency. And I could help. You can provisionally outsource thoughts to me. But the premise is that my thoughts are not going to keep you outsourcing your thoughts to me. What I'm thinking points you consistently back to your experience. So what we want to be looking for is to optimize for our own thinking process, what we find interesting to explore by looking at the limitations we find in our own experience. So it always starts here. It doesn't start somewhere else. It doesn't start with a memory. It starts here. Now, we play with the doubt. We enter curiosity mode, which is what I call the adventure mode, which if you haven't seen any videos on that, I recommend checking them out. We'll see if we can put them in the video right here. And what you're going to do is you're just going to constantly direct yourself to looking for what limitations in your current experience do you believe convince you that you're limited and temporary. And what you'll find is that your mind will start working in a very new way, in a very unique way. You'll start thinking thoughts that you've never thought of before. Or you may think of thoughts that you have thought of before, but it feels new. Like it feels like now you're actually interested in the answer. Because a lot of times people explore self-inquiry or any type of contemplation, but they don't care about the answer. They just care about removing their suffering. And if you do this inquiry for the attempt of removing your suffering, you will not find neither the answer, nor will you find the experience fun. You'll just be like, who am I? Who am I? Has my suffering gone yet? What's going on? Where's my suffering gone? Why is my suffering not gone? It should have gone by now. That's what Ramana Maharshi said. So we need to realize that in the attempt to look at our experience to remove suffering, we're not curious. We're not in curious mode. We're not in adventure mode. So the premise of this is that you have to be genuinely curious. Because when you're curious, you are in thriving mode. You are thriving in the unknown and you desire to move into the unknown. Curiosity. What is the definition of curiosity? To thrive in the unknown. To desire to move into what you do not or are yet to know. So when we're exploring experience, curiosity is the premise of this investigation, and this investigation will look for any of these limitations. One of them could be that you're stuck inside the head. I have a video in my free community, where the link is in the description for that, where I have a conversation with Rupert, my teacher, where I came to him, and you can see the premise. I'm in no different mode that I'm in right now when I'm talking to him, and my thoughts, I believe, are still stuck inside my head. And he guides me to realize that thoughts being in my head is a perception, and if I'm in my head, then I must be an object inside there looking at the thought that's inside it. And what you find is that that obviously is not taking place. So he pointed me very directly to my current experience of where I am. And where you are right now is the same place that I am. We usually believe that we are inside the body, but the body is obviously a sensation appearing inside something itself. So when we localize or believe ourselves to be the body, we will feel like I am wherever the body is. So if we feel like I am wherever the body is, well, we're going to feel like I'm on a chair. I feel like I'm on a chair. If someone pours water over our head, I am wet. I feel wet. If you move your head like this from side to side, it feels like I am moving, right? You feel like I am moving. There's this sense that I am being moved. If you move your arm like this, you don't feel like I am moving. You feel like your arm is moving. People located in their head, neck, or chest, if you move around, you'll feel like you are moving. So what happens with that is that you're localizing your sense of identity into a sensation in the body. This is an example of the depth of limitations that we might find ourselves to have. They're limitations of a body, yes, the body's limited. But the question is, are they limitations of myself? Am I inside the body? Am I limited to the body? What you'll find is that you're not. So the premise of this entire video, if it's going to do anything for you and give you any insight, it is no matter what experience you've had, you'll never be convinced of your understanding unless you explore it right now with pure curiosity, forgetting any past experience that you've had, and you explore it with proper context and understanding. This process is what will awaken the intellect. Once the intellect is awakened, the intellect has no more rebuttals with your understanding. It actually enforces your understanding. It expresses your understanding. That's when the mind goes from a terrible master to an excellent student. I have a free community. The link's in the description if you'd like to attend the free calls that we host there. I'd love to see you. Have an amazing day. Take care.